Okay.
Is that 8th grade? What grade?
No, we were in the 10th.
10th grade. Okay.
Rolling.
Well, let's start with that. I mean, first of all, how did you meet your husband?
Well, we went to high school together, and we started dating in the 10th grade, and here we are. 40 years, no, more than 40 years. We've been married almost 40 years.
Wow, that's incredible.
Okay, just catching your arm.
Now, did y'all get married in the 9th grade, or did you get married?
We got married just before his sophomore year of college.
That's great. Okay.
Just take us. Just there you go. Just a little that way.
Does that work?
Yeah, I just was afraid you were getting in the frame.
Okay.
Rolling.
Okay. Let's pick up with the beginning of the career. Okay, y'all got married. You had one child, I guess, at the time you started
Right.
coaching, right? And then talk me into what happened with Billy Dean.
By that time, we had 2 children. The end of the first year of coaching, and Billy Dean had been an outstanding player and had been named to All-Star game, and he was getting ready to leave to go to Atlanta to play in the All-Star game, and had gone fishing just a few days before and drowned in the river. And Ronald went to help look for his body. They could not find it. It was hours before they could find it. And that made a really big impression on me, because he had just spent on Sunday afternoon, had spent the afternoon with him in the gym. And at that time I thought, well, you know, he's spending more time with other people's children than he is with our own. And but that made such an impression on me that he could have an influence on other people's lives, and it didn't matter how much time he was spending with them. So if I was going to have him spend time with me and the children, we were going to be with him in the gym. So we have done that ever since.
Wow, so just that one story turned everything around. Okay. Ready?
Rolling.
Okay. We were talking before about a typical schedule between a husband and a wife.
The typical schedule, I guess, between most husbands and wives would be 8:30 to 5 in the afternoon, come home and eat supper and watch TV and go to bed. At our house, we have no schedule. We practice football on Thanksgiving morning, which is wonderful. It's wonderful to have to do that, because that means you're in the playoffs. At our house, we might have to get ready to go to a game at 3:30 in the afternoon, or even earlier. We might get in at 2 o'clock in the morning and get up at 7 o'clock the next morning to take some kids to Atlanta for something. We have no schedule, but it's wonderful, and we can spend all the time together, and we talk about all these children like they're our own, and it's just our house is empty of our own children, but our hearts are full of other people's children, and it's just a wonderful opportunity for us to be able to be involved in others' lives.
That's great. That's great. When he decided to hang it up and retire the first time, what went through your mind? And then, of course, you did traveling, so go ahead and talk about the two things at once there.
Well, the last games that we played, when we knew it was going to be the last ones, or we thought it would be the last ones for a long time, it was very nostalgic. I didn't know what we were going to do. We were excited about doing. We had a son with the airlines, and we could travel all over the world for little or no cost, and we wanted to spend some time doing that. And we did, and we enjoyed it. It was a great time for us to be together. We have always enjoyed traveling. We've always enjoyed spending time together. But when the opportunity came for us to come here and get back in it again, it was wonderful too. We had spent a couple of kind of selfish years just kind of doing what we wanted to do. But these 5 years here have been wonderful too. So we're thrilled to be back in it.
I was telling Coach before, I said, boy, you could be out playing golf and enjoying yourself in Florida or something like that right now, but yet you still love the kids.
All right.
The 1000th victory.
That was quite a time. That was a very nostalgic time for us. The afternoon that we knew that the victory was going to come that night, he spent the afternoon calling his former high school coach, one of his college coaches that meant so much to him, and just to try to impart to them that their teachings were being taught to others, and what they had taught him was still being taught today. And it was a wonderful time. We heard from people that we had not heard from in years, or we heard from a lot of people that we didn't even know that had read or had followed us through the years. And through, it was a real exciting time.
What is it that you do for around Coach all the time? I mean, you help him with what when it comes to all the teams?
Well, whatever needs to be done. During football season, I climb to the top of the highest structure on the stadium and film the football games. We put together all kinds of videotapes and highlights tapes, and I keep the scorebook during basketball season, and just whatever needs doing, I'm always usually available to do it.
So you two really have a really strong partnership.
Right, we really do. It's a real blessing to be able to take such an active interest in what your husband is doing. I think that, our marriage is extremely strong when we are able to spend a lot of time together.
That's great. Speaking of the family, you guys had a nice gathering last Christmas for a basketball little tournament.
Well, we did. It was, I had an unusual experience in one night. Both of our twin sons are high school coaches, and we happened to be involved in a little Christmas tournament type thing, and all three of the Bradleys coached both the boys and the girls, and we had a former coach that is coaching boys and girls. So they decided it would be nice to get together and have a Christmas tournament and play. Well, it so happens that we played our son Bill's girls, then we played our son Bob's boys, and both the sons beat the dad on the same night, and that was not a good night for Dad.
Oh my gosh. Why do you devote so much time to the youth?
Well, because I feel like any time that we can spend with them, any time that they're spending in that gym or on that field, is time that they're not out hunting something else to do, looking for things to be involved in. And I feel like any time that a young person spends quality time with a dedicated, interested coach is time that is well spent, and time that he will not be getting into things, he or she will not be getting into things that they shouldn't be into.
8 minutes there.
Eight in?
Uh-huh.
Return of students. You were saying he has second generation players.
Right. He has coached several in the 20s, second generation players, and that's very special because when a youngster has gone through our program, if he has paid the prices, he knows what those prices are, and for him to want his children involved has been very special.
If there was one sentence, if you could, to describe your husband, the coach, what would that be?
Dedicated and loving his job.
Okay.
Okay.
Away from home.
Right. Yes, we had some adjusting to do with me being at home all day with two small children, and him spending all day away and most nights away and Saturdays and Sundays in the gym. It took me a while to figure out that this was necessary in his life as a coach. If he was going to give everything he had to it, that I had to accept that. But one special thing happened to make me understand that all of this is necessary, and it's also very worthwhile. And he had a player that was named to the All-Star team. He had just graduated from high school and was getting ready to go to Atlanta to practice for the All-Star game. And he had spent all Sunday afternoon, and I thought, I'd rather have him here with me and the children on that Sunday afternoon. And the next week, the boy drowned. And I, at that time, decided, well, he is making a difference in young people's lives. This boy had some opportunities he wouldn't have had if Ronald hadn't spent that time with him. And so from that moment forward, I told him, I said, I will never ever say anything about the number of hours that you're spending with other people's children, and we'll just come to the gym with you and spend it with you there.